Hey Eagle fans, before we start the mailbag video, as submitted by a lot of subscribers, bunch of questions to get into, want to quickly show you guys my bets of the week, my locks of the week with our friends at BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Use that promo code Eagles125, put $100 down, and that $100 turns into $225 with the promo code to go ahead and jump in on some betting. Here are my locks of the week, the bets that I'm going for, because don't feel very good about the Eagles covering, -9. The Packers are favored by almost, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion there. So my bets of the week are, of course, the Falcons to cover. They're +3 right now against the Saints. Chargers +1 versus the Patriots. Chargers definitely going to beat the Patriots. And I'm going to go for the over with the Giants-Seahawks game because both teams have bad defenses. Both teams can score, and the over-under is only at 47.5. So I'm definitely going with the Giants and Seahawks to go for the over because, of course, as they say, we're all too young to be betting the under. So bet the over there for the Giants and the Seahawks. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready to jump into today's video. Okay, so as we mentioned, this is, of course, mailbag video answering all of your guys' mailbag questions. Let's start with Andre, who says, what should Eagles do the most? Bench Wentz, put in Hurts, tank the season because we are an embarrassment to Philly sports, or fire Howie Roseman and trade assets to get Micah Parsons. So, as I've said before, the Eagles' biggest liabilities are, in my opinion, Howie Roseman. To me, if you were going to get rid of one person, it's Howie Roseman. I want to keep Doug next year. I think Carson needs to get one more chance next year to go ahead and be the starting quarterback. And I'd honestly take a look at keeping Jim Schwartz as well. No idea if he's going to stay or go. So I would say get rid of Howie Roseman. Now, why do I say that? I think we need to take some time to look at what Roseman has done from a GM perspective the past couple of years in terms of signing players and drafting players, because this to me is the real big, I think, issue with Howie Roseman, who has made some good deals in the past. He built a Super Bowl caliber team in 2017, but the past couple of seasons really, in my opinion, has struggled to produce a lot of talent and really build a team worthy of the Eagles and the Philadelphia sports, like you said. So first off, let's just start with 2018, free agent signings, 2018. Look at this list. There's no one good on this list. Mike Wallace, terrible. Richard Rodgers is the best player on the list, even though he's the third-string tight end. Nada never did anything great. Warlow was injured. Bradham was good. They re-signed him for too much, though. And, of course, Corey Nelson, the linebacker, never really did anything. Let's go to 2019. Malik Jackson was a good free agent signing, but it's not like it was a boom free agent signing. He's been good. I think he's the best player the Eagles have signed in free agency in a long time. Curry, hit or miss. LJ Fort, nothing. Ronald Darby, basically nothing there, in my opinion. And then Andre Sinde, who was let go by the Eagles, I think at some point last year. I mean, he basically did nothing as well. How about this year? They re-signed Jalen Mills to play safety. That's been up and down. Rodney McLeod, to me, good re-signing. They gave Nate Sudfeld multi-million-dollar extension to be not activated for any games because Jalen Hurts is the number 2 quarterback. And Javon Hargrave got a ton of money, like $10 million a year, despite the fact that he's done, in my opinion, very little at defensive tackle spot. It's been more Malik Jackson and Fletcher Cox. So you can kind of start building a list here and building a history of free agent signings and looking at, he's given a lot of money, Howie Roseman, to players who haven't done much. Ridgeway hasn't done much this year. Brown opted out. They released Will Parks. Roby Coleman's been awful in the slot. These are signings that, no, you don't have to hit on every single one, but he's missed on a lot of these players. How about draft picks? This is where you really start to nail down on Howie Roseman, because the Darius Slade trade was good. I thought that was nice this offseason. Let's look at draft picks. Jalen Reagor missed on, in my opinion, Justin Jefferson, who's been way better, was a pick later or 2 picks later. Now, again, Reagor can still be a hit because he's been injured, but that doesn't look great. Hurts has been a disaster just because of the quarterback controversy that you've had. Davion Taylor has 1 start. Kayvon Wallace has 1 start. Hightower's been non-existent. He's missing on these guys. Now, the 2020 draft class can still become good in the future, but so far not looking good. 2019 is going to be one of the worst ones. Sanders, good pick, like that. Dillard hasn't really done much even when he started, also injured this year. Whiteside, a mega miss when you could have had Terry McLaurin, who of course is a Washington football team player, or DK Metcalf. They went for Whiteside, who stinks. Do you even know who Sharif Miller is? No, because he hasn't played. And Clayton Thorson was a quarterback they took in the later rounds who didn't even make the football team. How about 2018? Yes, Goddard is good. Yes, Josh Sweat is good. I like Pryor and Mailata, but Maddox, not that great. There's no impact player here. There's no player that really stands out besides Dallas Goedert. You just keep... This is the problem with Howie Roseman. He does hit on some decent draft picks, but overall, he's missed on a ton of guys. And it's not just the fact that he's drafting bad players. He's just missing on and not drafting the good players and taking very average to below average players overall. Has he been terrible? No. They did win a Super Bowl 3 years ago. We got to give him credit where credit is due. Roseman was the reason. He built a great team. Doug was the quarterback coach. Carson was the quarterback for the majority of the time. They just need to, I think, have a better plan going into these drafts and free agency periods and start hitting on some players. That way they can have more success down the road. I'll ask you guys this, as I've done a lot of times. Who is to blame right now for the Eagles' struggles? Is it Howie? Is it Doug? Is it Carson Wentz? Is it somebody else? I'm going to be reading the pinned comments down below. I really want to see if you guys agree with me on the fact that Roseman has been very bad at building teams each of the last couple of years. Okay, let's move on here to some more mailbag questions. Matthew says, realistically, no other team in the NFC East can get to 7 wins. So if the Eagles can get to 6-9-1, we should get a playoff spot. To do this, they'll have to win versus Dallas and Washington in Week 16 and 17. They will also have to beat one of the Saints, Packers, or Cardinals. Yes, he went on to say, we didn't have room for it, but he went on to say which of the next 3 games is the one that they can win. So first off, he is right. Like, if we're going to break down the schedules here in a second, all the Eagles have to do is get to 3-6-1. 7 wins for sure wins the East. 3-9-1 would most likely do it because the tie would be kind of the tiebreaker for Philadelphia. So first off, let's look at the Giants. The Giants' schedule is tough. At Seattle this week, that's tough. Cardinals, Browns, 2 playoff teams. Ravens, probably a playoff team, and then Dallas. So they have really 4 hard games and then 1 easy game against the Cowboys. Washington has Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Seattle, Carolina, and Philadelphia. So 4 hard games and then 1 easy game, with, of course, is the Philadelphia Eagles game. Eagles schedule, I mean, again, not mentioned because we have it on the in the question. They have 3 hard games: Packers, Cardinals, or Packers, Saints, Cardinals, but then Washington and Dallas. So I do think that the Eagles have a real shot at winning 2 of their next 5, and then maybe beating the Cardinals is who I would pick out of the list. That's the question, right? Cardinals, Packers game is going to be brutal. Saints is going to be really bad because Breeze could be back. I think Arizona is your best shot at picking up that elusive 3rd win to get to 6-9, or 6, excuse me, yeah, it would be 6-9-1, right? Do the math. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Who wins the NFC East, or the NFC least, as they say? Who wins it? Philadelphia, the Giants, or Washington? Let me know what you guys think. Who legitimately is going to go ahead and win down below in the comments section. Daniel Vasquez says, why is Carson Wentz getting criticized when the problem is the O-line? The O-line can't block and the quarterback is getting knocked. So, yes, the O-line can't block, and that's true. But really, there are a lot of other issues. And I mean, these to me are the 4 big issues with the offense. So 1, the O-line does give up a lot of sacks. 2, a lot of times the play calling makes no sense. 3, the receivers are mediocre to bad. They're not getting open. And 4, we had to admit it though, Wentz does make bad decisions. So even though Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the National Football League, we can't just say that's the reason the Eagles' offense is bad. Wentz, a lot of times, is holding on to the football too long, and a lot of times does get good protection, just makes bad throws. Now, it's a bunch of issues. I do think the O-line is probably the biggest issue right now, but I think play calling and receivers is another massive issue as well. So it's just tough when he's had like 12 different offensive line combinations, a new one this week. I mean, it's been rough. You'd like to know how he would have looked if he would have had Mailata starting at left tackle or Dillard at left tackle and then Brooks being in there and Johnson. I think it could have made at least a little bit of a difference. Make sure you guys are subscribed because we're doing mailbags all year long, and so always use the hashtag Eagles when asking a mailbag question down below in the comments section. But we do we answer a lot of the subscriber questions, so make sure you guys are subscribed in case your question wasn't answered. If you're not a subscriber, that's probably why. FJ Boxing says, can you put your owner's or GM hat on? Once you do, okay, hang on, put it on, okay. Once you do, give me 7 things or more you would change or keep the same, your choice, talking offense, defense, coaching, or free agency. How about 4, right? 7's a lot, because you got to draft well, stuff like that. Here are the 4 things that I would do in order to fix the Eagles. I'd fire Howie Roseman and get a new GM. I think that's more than due. I would hire an offensive coordinator to take over the offense away from Doug Pederson, work with Pederson, but become the primary play caller, much like Frank Reich was. Get healthy, that's important, and they will this offseason. And then draft a wide receiver and a linebacker early in the NFL draft, or sign one. Like, get legit at linebacker, get legit at wide receiver. That would be my 4 quick things to fix the Eagles. And obviously, we talk about a lot more things, but that'd be my 4 quick ones to do. Brody says, should the Eagles tank this year? I mean, it looks like they're going to. I mean, they're not trying to tank. They're trying to win these games. Tanking doesn't exist in the NFL. I've said that many, many times. But if you want a high draft pick, then yeah, go ahead. Now, if they don't win the NFC East, then they're going to have a top 10 draft pick. Right now, they're sitting at 6th in the draft order. That can be as high as 4, really. Like, they could really be up there. And while I want them to win the NFC East, I would also really like one of these 5 players at number 6. I mean, you get Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State, is an absolute no-brainer. Gregory Rousseau they say, I mean, I was reading the draft profile on him, and they say he's the best pass rusher by far. Patrick Surtain, the cornerback out of Alabama. These are all top 10 picks. I think Jamar Chase, to me, would make perfect sense, a no-brainer. But, linebacker is important, too. So Well, I don't think that they're going to tank on purpose. I think if they do lose the NFC East, it does put them in a really good spot to get a very good, impactful player in the top 10 of the NFL draft. Drop a like if you want them to tank, though, or get a high pick in the NFL draft. Like this video right now. I want to see a bunch of likes down below in the comments section. Okay, final question here. Fun one says, are you impressed with our defense? To be honest, they aren't bad. Our problem is the offense. No, they have been good. I mean, listen, they gave up 22 versus the Giants in Week 7 was the last time. 27 against the Giants, and Week 10 is the one I'm thinking of. But other than that, 22, 9, 27, 22, and 23. I got to be able to read there. They have been good. They were good enough to win the Browns game and good enough to win the Seattle game. If the Eagles' offense was anything but what it has been, I mean, even remotely competent, they would have won these football games. So, yeah, defense has been a lot better. They're not ranked super high. I mean, takeaways has been an issue. Points per game has been kind of an issue. But passing yards, I think the secondary has been way better than it was last year. They're great against the run, as they always are. Even though that's come down a little bit, to me, they still are a good football team against the run. But I think that they need to be a little bit better situationally, and they need help from the offense because the offense has been completely screwing them over. Shout out to Brandon Graham. We've talked about him a lot on this show. He's been great this year. He's the best player on the Eagles defense right now, the most productive one. I think this is a team that, or defensively, can be a playoff defense if the offense would figure things out. So maybe 2021, if the defense keeps this good with a couple of additions in the draft and be a linebacker, I think they could be very, very good, and so credit to them. What's your confidence level in the defense these next couple of weeks? Tough matchups. I mean, Saints, Packers, Cardinals. Rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. There we go. The ultimate out for today here on a Philadelphia Eagles mailbag, a weekend mailbag to get you ready for a very fun matchup, a tough matchup against the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully, Philadelphia is able to win. We'll break it all down on Monday. So I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and enjoy the Eagles, even though it's hard to enjoy a team that is really bad at football. But that's beyond the point, right? Completely beyond the point. You know, ultimate out for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm your host, Thomas Motts, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. Go Philadelphia. Beat the Packers on Sunday.